People often misunderstand danger. They imagine loud voices, visible anger, open threats. But true danger is quiet. True intimidation does not announce itself. Machiavelli understood something most people never realize in their entire lives. The most powerful individuals are not the ones who seek attention, but the ones whose presence alone changes the behavior of others. A dangerous personality is not built on cruelty or violence. It is built on control, restraint, and an unshakable sense of self. One of the clearest signs of a dangerous personality is emotional silence. When most people feel anger, fear, or excitement, they leak it everywhere. Their face changes, their voice cracks, their behavior becomes predictable. But the dangerous individual feels just as deeply, sometimes more deeply, but reveals nothing. This silence unsettles people. Humans rely on emotional feedback to feel safe. When they cannot read you, they cannot control you. And when they cannot control you, they fear you. Machiavelli believed that mystery creates authority. The less people know about what moves you, the more power you hold over them. Another trait that makes a personality intimidating is comfort with being disliked. Most people are slaves to approval. They shape their words, actions, and even beliefs around the need to be accepted. A dangerous person does the opposite. They do not chase validation. They do not explain themselves unnecessarily. They are willing to let others misunderstand them if it protects their position. This indifference to opinion sends a powerful message: I do not need you. And when people feel they are not needed, they instinctively try to earn relevance. This reverses the power dynamic completely. There is also something deeply unsettling about someone who never rushes. In a world addicted to speed, urgency, and reaction, calm patience feels unnatural. The dangerous personality moves slowly, speaks deliberately, and decides carefully. They are never pushed into action by pressure or emotion. Machiavelli warned that haste is the enemy of power. When you act too quickly, you reveal your priorities. When you wait, you force others to reveal theirs. People fear those they cannot rush because it means they cannot control the timeline. Another sign lies in selective kindness. Weak individuals are either nice to everyone or cruel to everyone. Dangerous individuals are neither. They choose when to be warm and when to be distant. Their kindness feels earned, not free. This creates psychological weight. When approval is rare, it becomes valuable. When attention is controlled, it becomes addictive. Machiavelli understood that generosity without strategy weakens authority, but calculated kindness strengthens loyalty. A truly intimidating personality also has a strong sense of boundaries. They do not overshare. They do not justify their limits. They do not negotiate their core values. When someone crosses a line, the response is not emotional. It is firm and final. This clarity confuses people who are used to bending others through guilt or pressure. The dangerous individual does not argue about respect. They expect it. And if it is not given, access is removed without drama. There is also power in the ability to walk away. Most people stay too long in conversations, relationships, arguments, and situations that drain them because they fear loss. A dangerous personality fears stagnation more than loss. They leave when respect fades. They detach when manipulation appears. This willingness to walk away signals abundance. It tells the world that you have options, even if you never reveal what they are. Machiavelli believed that dependence is weakness, and independence is the foundation of power. Another deeply unsettling trait is self-control under provocation. Insults, disrespect, and challenges are tests. Weak individuals react emotionally, giving their opponent exactly what they want. Dangerous individuals observe, remember, and respond on their own terms, often later when the other person feels safe. This delayed response is terrifying because it shows foresight. It shows that you are not driven by impulse, but by strategy. People fear those who remember everything and forgive selectively. Finally, there is the presence itself. A dangerous personality does not need to dominate conversations. They do not compete for attention. They listen more than they speak. When they do speak, others listen, not because of volume, but because of weight. Their words are measured. Their silence is intentional. Their confidence does not beg to be seen. It simply exists. Machiavelli understood that authority is felt before it is explained. In the end, having a dangerous, intimidating personality is not about harming others. It is about mastering yourself. It is about emotional discipline, strategic thinking, and unshakable self-respect. People fear what they cannot predict, cannot manipulate, and cannot control. When you remove the need for approval, the fear of isolation, and the urge to react, you become something rare. And rarity always commands respect. This is why the most dangerous people are often the quietest in the room. They do not threaten. They do not chase. They do not explain. They simply observe, decide, and move when the moment is right. And by the time others realize what they are dealing with, the balance of power has already shifted. A dangerous personality is also defined by how little it needs to prove. Insecure people advertise their strength. They remind others of their value. They argue to be right. The intimidating individual does none of this. Their confidence is internal, not performative. They let results speak, and silence fill the gaps. This creates a quiet tension around them because humans are conditioned to expect signals. When none are given, imagination takes over, and imagination always exaggerates power. There is something profoundly unsettling about someone who listens without reacting. Most people listen only to respond. They interrupt, defend, explain. But the dangerous individual listens fully, absorbs everything, and reveals nothing in return. This imbalance creates psychological dominance. The other person feels exposed, while you remain concealed. Machiavelli believed information is currency, and the one who gathers more than they give always holds advantage. Another layer of intimidation comes from consistency. Weak personalities change with mood, audience, or pressure. Dangerous ones are stable. Their values do not bend for convenience. Their behavior does not shift to please. People may not always like them, but they always know where they stand. This predictability in principle, combined with unpredictability in action, creates authority. People trust those who are solid even when they fear them. A truly dangerous individual is also deeply comfortable with solitude. Loneliness terrifies most people, which is why they tolerate disrespect, chaos, and manipulation. But the intimidating personality sees solitude as strength. Time alone sharpens thinking. It removes noise. It restores clarity. Machiavelli understood that crowds weaken judgment while isolation strengthens resolve. When people sense that you do not fear being alone, they lose their leverage over you. There is also danger in restraint. Power that is always visible becomes familiar. Familiarity breeds contempt. The intimidating personality does not reveal their full capability. They operate below their maximum, allowing others to underestimate them. This is strategic humility, not weakness. When action is finally taken, the contrast shocks. Machiavelli warned that revealing all your strength at once invites resistance, but concealed power creates fear of the unknown. Another unsettling trait is emotional economy. Dangerous individuals do not waste energy on pointless conflicts. They choose their battles carefully. They do not correct every insult. They do not chase every misunderstanding. This selective engagement signals hierarchy. It tells others that not everyone deserves a response. Silence in this context becomes a verdict. Not ignorance, but dismissal. Intimidation also grows from responsibility. And weak people blame circumstances. Dangerous individuals take ownership of outcomes even when This mindset creates inner strength. When someone realizes that nothing outside them controls their direction, they become difficult to manipulate. Machiavelli believed that fortune favors those who command themselves before attempting to command others. There is also power in the eyes, not aggression, not staring contests, but calm, grounded presence. A steady gaze that does not flinch, does not seek approval, does not challenge unnecessarily. It simply observes. Humans evolved to read intention through eyes, and when intention is unreadable, instinctive caution arises. This is not dominance through fear, but dominance through certainty. Another sign of a dangerous personality is how they handle success and failure. They do not celebrate loudly and they do not collapse quietly. Both extremes reveal dependency on outcomes. The intimidating individual remains composed. Success is expected. Failure is information. This emotional balance signals maturity and control, traits people naturally submit to in leadership and authority. Perhaps the darkest lesson Machiavelli teaches is this: People respect strength more than kindness, but they remember kindness when it is paired with strength. A dangerous personality understands this balance. They are not cruel by default, but they are never harmless. Their kindness feels safe because it is chosen, not forced. Their silence feels heavy because it is intentional, not empty. In the end, intimidation is not something you perform. It is something you become. It is built through discipline, self-awareness, and the refusal to live reactively. The more you master yourself, the less you need to control others. And paradoxically, that is when others begin to adjust themselves around you. People will speak more carefully. They will test you less often. They will think twice before crossing lines, not because you demanded it, but because your presence quietly taught them to. This is the essence of a dangerous personality. Not loud, not chaotic, not emotional, but composed, selective, and deeply aware. And in a world driven by impulse and insecurity, that kind of person will always be intimidating. A dangerous personality also understands the power of restraint in speech. Words are not spilled carelessly. Every sentence has a purpose, or it is left unsaid. Most people talk to feel alive, to feel noticed, to fill silence. The intimidating individual allows silence to exist. Silence forces others to confront themselves. It exposes insecurity. It creates space where authority naturally rises. Machiavelli knew that whoever controls silence controls the room. Another unsettling trait is the ability to remain neutral when others are emotionally invested. When conflict arises, people expect sides to be chosen, reactions to be shown, loyalty to be proven. The dangerous personality does not rush to align. They observe first. They understand that emotional chaos blinds judgment. By staying neutral, they gain clarity while others lose it. Later, when they act, their decision feels final because it was not made in emotion. There is also intimidation and long memory paired with short temper. Dangerous individuals do not explode quickly, but they do not forget. They let patterns reveal intent. They allow mistakes once, sometimes twice, but disrespect is recorded. This creates an invisible ledger others cannot see but eventually feel. When consequences arrive, they seem sudden, but they were long prepared. Machiavelli believed deception was not lying, but allowing others to deceive themselves. There is also something unsettling about someone who does not seek revenge immediately. Weak individuals need instant satisfaction. They allow time to weaken their opponent naturally. They let situations unfold until resistance collapses under its own weight. When action is taken, it feels inevitable, not emotional. This creates fear far greater than impulsive retaliation because it suggests calculation rather than rage. Another sign lies in the ability to separate emotion from decision. Dangerous individuals feel emotions deeply, but they do not allow emotions to vote. Decisions are made from logic, timing, and long-term outcome. This makes them appear cold to those who live emotionally, but coldness is often mistaken for strength. Machiavelli warned that mercy guided by emotion weakens authority, while mercy guided by strategy strengthens it. There is also intimidation and consistency of stand. Dangerous personalities do not make exceptions for tears, excuses, or pressure. Once a line is drawn, it stays drawn. This firmness teaches others how to treat you without you having to explain yourself. People fear unpredictable anger, but they respect predictable consequences. A truly intimidating individual does not chase closure. They do not demand apologies. They do not need last words. They understand that closure is a comfort for the weak. Silence and distance are often more powerful than explanation. When someone loses access without understanding why, the psychological impact is permanent. Machiavelli knew that unanswered questions haunt longer than answered ones. Another dark trait is the ability to remain composed during chaos. While others panic, rush, or emotionally collapse, the dangerous personality becomes sharper. Pressure clarifies their thinking instead of clouding it. Humans instinctively look for leadership in moments of uncertainty. The calmest person in the storm automatically rises in authority, even without title. There is also something deeply intimidating about someone who does not fear confrontation, but does not seek it either. They do not avoid conflict out of fear, and they do not provoke it for ego. They engage only when necessary, and when they do, it is direct and controlled. This balance signals strength without instability. Another mark of danger is the ability to forgive without forgetting. Forgiveness frees the mind, but memory protects the future. Dangerous individuals understand both. They release emotional weight but retain awareness. This makes them appear calm, even kind, while remaining impossible to exploit twice. Machiavelli believed that repeated mercy toward the same offense is not virtue but weakness. A dangerous personality also controls access to themselves. Not everyone gets time, attention, or emotional availability. This selectiveness increases value. People cherish what is limited. When access is earned rather than given, loyalty deepens and disrespect fades. As this mindset develops, something subtle changes. You stop reacting to provocation. You stop explaining your silence. You stop proving your worth. And people begin to adjust themselves around you. Conversations become cautious. Boundaries are respected without enforcement. Your absence becomes noticeable, your presence heavy. This is the quiet transformation Machiavelli hinted at but never openly praised. Power is not about domination over others. It is about independence from them. When you no longer need approval, validation, or permission, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability, when paired with self-control, is deeply intimidating. The most dangerous people are not those who threaten violence or chaos. They are those who cannot be rushed, cannot be guilted, cannot be emotionally hijacked. They move when they decide, they speak when it serves them, and they leave when respect disappears. And by the time others realize that you are not like them, they already feel it, in the hesitation of their words, in the caution of their actions, in the way they watch you more closely than you watch them. That is when you know the transformation is complete. A dangerous personality also understands the power of emotional distance. Not coldness, not cruelty, but distance. When most people get close too quickly, reveal too much, and attach too deeply, the intimidating individual moves differently. They let others approach while they remain slightly out of reach. This imbalance creates tension. Humans desire what they cannot fully grasp. And when access is limited, presence becomes valuable. Machiavelli understood that familiarity weakens authority, but distance preserves it. There is also intimidation in the ability to absorb insults without internalizing them. Weak individuals are wounded by words because their identity is fragile. Dangerous individuals hear the words, understand the intention behind them, and discard the rest. They do not carry emotional debris. This makes them immune to verbal manipulation. When insults fail to provoke, the attacker feels exposed and powerless. Another unsettling trait is the refusal to explain oneself repeatedly. Most people over-explain because they fear being misunderstood. The dangerous personality understands that those who want to understand will, and those who do not never will. Explanations are given once, clearly. After that, silence follows. This firmness signals self-respect and discourages future challenges. A dangerous individual also recognizes the value of letting others underestimate their intelligence. Intelligence, when displayed openly, attracts competition and resistance. When concealed, it attracts trust. People speak freely around those they believe are harmless. They reveal plans, weaknesses, and intentions. Machiavelli believed the greatest advantage comes not from appearing superior but from being invisible until action is unavoidable. There is also power in emotional restraint during praise. Compliments inflate most egos. Dangerous personalities receive praise calmly, without hunger. This signals inner abundance. It tells others that approval is not currency you depend on. When praise loses its power over you, flattery loses its weapon. Another mark of intimidation is decisiveness without aggression. When the dangerous individual decides, there is no drama. No threats, no raised voice, just action. This quiet decisiveness unsettles people because it removes negotiation. Machiavelli warned that hesitation invites challenge, but certainty shuts doors without force. A dangerous personality is also defined by how it handles betrayal. Weak people seek revenge publicly. They expose pain. They make noise. Dangerous individuals withdraw, observe, and restructure. They remove trust silently. They alter access. And when consequences arrive, they appear indirect, almost invisible. This creates a reputation that travels faster than any warning. There is also something deeply intimidating about someone who does not rush emotional healing. They do not beg for closure. They do not seek validation after loss. They sit with discomfort until clarity returns. This patience strengthens the mind. Pain becomes a teacher instead of a wound. Machiavelli understood that suffering, when controlled, produces sharper rulers than comfort ever could. Another trait is the ability to remain polite while refusing compliance. The dangerous individual does not argue loudly. They simply say no and mean it. No guilt, no apology, no justification. Politeness paired with firmness confuses manipulators because it removes emotional leverage while maintaining social balance. A truly dangerous personality also understands timing. They know when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait, when to confront and when to disappear. Timing multiplies power. A small action at the right moment outweighs a great action at the wrong one. Machiavelli believed timing was the hidden weapon of all successful leaders. As this mindset matures, your internal world changes. You stop needing constant stimulation. You stop reacting to noise. You stop explaining your silence. And slowly people begin to sense it. They do not always know why they feel cautious around you. They just do. Your calm becomes pressure. Your silence becomes judgment. Your absence becomes presence. This is the paradox of danger. The less you try to intimidate, the more intimidating you become. Because real power is not loud. It does not chase. It does not beg to be seen. A dangerous personality also understands the discipline of inner order. While others live chaotically, emotionally, mentally, socially, the intimidating individual creates structure within themselves. Their thoughts are organized. Their goals are clear. Their routines are intentional. This inner order reflects outwardly. People sense stability before they understand it. And stability in an unstable world feels like power. There is intimidation in someone who does not overshare their struggles. Weak people turn pain into performance. They seek sympathy, validation, and rescue. Dangerous individuals endure privately. Not because they feel nothing, but because they understand that vulnerability shared too freely becomes leverage for the wrong people. Machiavelli believed that revealing weakness without necessity invites exploitation. Another dark trait is the ability to disengage emotionally without cruelty. When respect fades, when manipulation appears, when loyalty breaks, the dangerous personality does not argue endlessly. They detach, cleanly, quietly, without emotional debris. This detachment leaves others confused, replaying conversations, searching for closure that never comes. Silence becomes a mirror they are forced to look into. A dangerous personality also knows the difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance demands acknowledgement. Confidence does not. The intimidating individual does not need to dominate every conversation or prove superiority. Their assurance is visible in how little they compete. This calm self-belief unsettles people who rely on constant comparison to feel secure. There is also power in being difficult to offend. When people realize their words cannot shake you, they lose a primary weapon. Offense is often used to control reactions. When that fails, the manipulator is left exposed. Machiavelli understood that emotional resilience strips enemies of strategy. Another unsettling quality is selective vulnerability. Dangerous individuals do not wall themselves off completely. They choose carefully who sees what. This creates trust without surrendering control. Vulnerability becomes a tool, not a weakness. It deepens bonds where loyalty exists and remains invisible where it does not. A truly intimidating person also respects time deeply. They do not waste it. They do not allow others to waste it. Time is treated as the most valuable currency. When someone repeatedly disrespects it, access is reduced. No warnings, no lectures, just distance. This quiet enforcement teaches others how to treat you without confrontation. There is intimidation in someone who does not chase arguments. They state their position once, clearly, calmly. After that, they allow disagreement to exist. This refusal to debate endlessly signals inner certainty. Machiavelli believed that prolonged argument weakens authority while quiet certainty strengthens it. Another dark lesson is the ability to observe patterns instead of isolated events. Dangerous individuals do not react to single mistakes. They watch behavior over time. They understand that character reveals itself through repetition. When action is finally taken, it is precise and justified. This makes their decisions difficult to challenge and impossible to manipulate. A dangerous personality is also deeply self-aware. They know their strengths, their weaknesses, their triggers, and their limits. This self-knowledge prevents others from discovering them first. Machiavelli warned that enemies exploit what you refuse to confront within yourself. As this level of control develops, something subtle but powerful happens. You stop seeking dominance, you stop proving intelligence, you stop explaining boundaries, and people begin to treat you differently without being told to. They hesitate, they listen more closely. They choose their words more carefully, not because you demanded respect, but because your presence taught it. This is the final transformation. Power that does not announce itself, strength that does not threaten, control that does not need enforcement.